Hey guys, this is the Mind of Lilith, and today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts about the most recent episode of Ready to Love. This is season 3, episode 4, and in this episode, the couples go out on double dates. So during the double date, I noticed that Sharlana and Otis had a lot of tension, of course, and it seemed like Sharlana was jealous of, Otis's date, more so than Otis being jealous of Sharlana's date. Charlana was being immature, she was being petty, but like Dr. Nicole said, I get a sense that, Charlana went on her date and she was kind of dismissive towards Otis because she was being passive aggressive and sarcastic and wanted to go tit for tat with him because he was choosing to go on another date with this young lady. Now, the young lady that he went out with, she was attractive to me. They looked similar. Charlana kept saying she looked young. They both looked around the same age. But Charlana showed that she was willing to be insecure and jealous for the sake of holding on to a man, which is what a lot of women do. As I said a couple of weeks prior, a lot of women will hold on to a raggedy relationship because they don't want their man with the next woman, especially a woman that they actually can see in person. So I'm not saying that Otis was an angel, but Charlana could have handled the situation better when it comes to when it came to the double date. I think that, again, she was being passive aggressive to the point where she basically dismissed him in front of another man, and that is like a problem. Okay, most men would not respect that, and most women would not respect that. I think her feelings got in the way of her logic, and she pushed Otis away toward this girl more. If you disrespect your man in front of another man, you're going to have a problem. If you disrespect your woman in front of another woman, that's going to be a problem. I think Charlana was so caught up in her feelings that she wasn't thinking straight, and she was just angry. She was still angry about what happened in the first date. She was still angry at the fact that Otis did not admit to being too harsh on her. And so now it's snowballing into more toxicity. The relationship is very toxic. And it seems like the basis of Charlana and Otis's attraction is their toxic dynamic. It's almost like they get more attracted to each other the more they argue with each other. Because other than that, I don't see any chemistry between them. They're both attractive people, but they seem to only connect with each other when they're trying to one-up each other or argue with each other. They don't seem to have any kind of connection unless that's happening. And to be honest, that's the basis for a lot of relationships. A lot of people who are not compatible, their compatibility comes from them arguing and fighting with each other and playing mind games. I'm not saying that Charlana, she's not a victim of psychological and emotional abuse, but I think that she could have played this better and tried to diffuse the situation. But because she was just furious, I could see the anger and disgust in her face. While she was watching him on the date with the other woman, she kept just throwing jabs at him. And again, she was giving him the ammunition that he needed to do what he wanted to do anyway, in my opinion. If you know your man is a cheater or you can't trust him or he's petty, do not give him the ammunition to be more petty. You have to diffuse the situation. If you know he's going to be vindictive, if you know he's going to go tit for tat with you, why would you give him more ammunition? These are the kind of women, unfortunately, that, if their man hits them, I'm not going to say they like it, because most women don't like getting hit, but that's a part of the dynamic. The abuse becomes a part of the cycle, right? So he's only abusing me because he won't let me go. The same thing with Kenneth and Shorty. He's only controlling me and he's only abusing me because he doesn't want to leave me alone. So now Charlana is going to push Otis away into the arms of this woman, right? Now he's going to have an excuse to connect with the date he was on because she basically scolded him in front of another man who was his competitor. Most men won't live that down. Personality disorder or not, most men will not live down being shunned by their woman in front of another man. I don't know what she was thinking, but she wasn't thinking, in my opinion. I think she was just reacting to her impulsive emotions, which is a recipe for disaster because both people lack the emotional maturity. Charlana and Otis lack the emotional maturity to resolve their conflicts without verbal, emotional, or psychological abuse or manipulation. This relationship needs a lot of work, or they need to walk away because it's going to get abusive at some point. So the next couple I wanted to discuss was Shorty and Kenneth. And I'm going to be brief here because neither of them chose to go on follow-up dates. But Shorty is clearly over Kenneth in a way, in my opinion. Maybe it's because she hasn't seen him with another woman in person, but she keeps trying to push him away or, throw hints at him like, listen, if I find somebody better, I'm leaving. If I'm not happy, I'm out. And she keeps telling him that she's not happy. I don't know exactly why she's not happy. I think it's because of financial reasons. And, Kenneth is like, yeah, I know what I want. But does Kenneth know what he wants because he's broke? Because as the saying goes, men are only as loyal as their options. So if Kenneth had more options, would he still be as loyal? If Kenneth got his paper up, would he still be as loyal to Shorty? I don't know. Now to the third couple, Shay and what's his name? Alfonso. First of all, production really started to instigate mess because they brought in this gorgeous dark-skinned black woman. And I love seeing dark-skinned, beautiful black women on TV because we don't get enough of that. In Hollywood and the music industry, we're told that dark-skinned women aren't attractive and, they can't film well, whatever. That's BS. They brought in this gorgeous woman who's 41 years old. She looks like she's 29, 30, okay? Gorgeous body, gorgeous face. I think her name is Taj. And Shay was triggered just because the girl was pretty. And this is what I'm talking about when I say that women who put the most emphasis on their external appearance are the most insecure. And I've heard this from men. I didn't get it until I got older, but a lot of women who focus on how they look because it's the most important quality they think they have, they usually end up being the most insecure. And, I mentioned this when I talked about Ariana and Melody. Ariana is a pretty girl, but she's extremely insecure of other women, which is why she did not have the ability to empathize with Melody in her marriage. But anyway, Shay was automatically triggered when she saw the beautiful woman walk in, okay? Again, beautiful face, beautiful body. She looked natural. She didn't have to put on a bunch of makeup, and she was a natural beauty. It was refreshing to see that on TV. But anyway, Shay starts to, act up, act immature, cause a scene, right? Even though she has a date too, but she's so insecure, she couldn't stand the sight of her man on a date with another woman. And this is why I say a lot of these raggedy men get away with murder, because women are so competitive against other women. They will tear another woman down and project their frustration and insecurity and anger on another woman instead of the man. A lot of women will hate on another woman for being beautiful because they don't trust their man around the beautiful woman. Now, I will say that some women don't have respect for your relationship. We saw what happened with Love and Marriage Huntsville and Ariana. We see that some women don't care if you're married and they will relentlessly pursue your man, right? Or try to trap your man with a baby because he's slipping up and he's stupid as hell. This is why I always said Melody was a boss, because Melody met Ariana, spoke to her. But guess what? Melody did not treat Ariana like it was her fault that her man was cheating. A lot of women blame the other women for their man being a cheater. It is not Ariana's fault that Martell was cheating. Yes, it's Ariana's fault that she got pregnant and kept the baby. Of course, Martell contributed to that too, obviously. But for the most part, it is not the side pieces part that your man is cheating. And so what Shay was doing, again, is projecting her anger and insecurity and frustration on another woman that was drop dead gorgeous, who she felt could seduce her man because he's not trustworthy. That is not Taj's fault. That is not any beautiful woman's fault. So instead of fighting other women over your raggedy man, how about you check your man and make sure he's not of that caliber? He has some character about him or some integrity about him, right? Where he cares enough about your feelings not to cheat on you, or don't deal with him at all. But to fight or antagonize or feel threatened by every single woman your man is around is insane, especially a man who works in the music industry. And these are the type of women who live in high drama situations. There are some men who like when women fight over them. I don't know those kind of men because I don't fight over any man. So I would never date a man that wanted me to fight over him, or I would never date a man that would put me in a position to have to fight over him. That's not going to happen. But a lot of these women like fighting over men to prove their loyalty to these men, while these men just sit back and have their cake and eat it too. Just like with Martell and Melody. Martell was allowing his mistress to attack his wife, and his wife was trying to vie for his attention, and get his attention back. But he wanted the two women to compete over him. A lot of men like that dynamic, especially toxic ass, insecure, broken men. Now, I'm not saying Alfonso's like this. I actually like his personality. He seems to be a jovial, fun kind of guy, chill, laid back. But Shay's going to have to work that insecurity out. I understand. I would feel some kind of way if my man was walking in the room with a gorgeous woman too. But I would not act the same way. I wouldn't fight her over that. That's not her fault she's pretty. It's your man's fault for making you feel like you have to go through such extreme measures to secure the relationship, okay? If you got to do all that, then the relationship is like kind of dead in the water, because you're going to have to fight everybody. And then a baby comes. If you get married and you get pregnant, there's going to be rumors of him cheating even more, because men get more reckless when women get pregnant. Because they're like, well, she ain't going nowhere anyway. Especially after women get married. The men start cheating worse sometimes after they get married to the woman, because she's locked down. Or after she has the baby. She ain't going nowhere. She need me. She ain't got nobody else. Ain't nobody else going to want her. So they become more disrespectful and they start to violate more. Like I said, it's not completely Shay's fault that, she doesn't trust Alfonso. He has a sketchy past. He's like a player type. He, has a bunch of women around him all the time. I understand why Shay would feel insecure around him, but that's not the way to go about it. Because there are plenty of women who aren't in those situations where their man is a bum, and they're still fighting other women over the bummy man. It doesn't stop. The men are not the prize in this situation, especially if you're not married to him. And especially if the other woman did not disrespect you. If the other woman comes to you correct, and she's respectful towards you, and she's not trying to compete against you or disrespect you, at least to your face, then at least show the same respect and kind. I like the way that Charlana, embraced, Otis's date. She showed some maturity there. Even though she had a little bit of jabs, she wasn't going to throw a glass at the girl. That's too much, right? She smiled at her and said she was pretty. Give her a compliment. Shay couldn't even do that. She couldn't even be a grown woman and say, yo, she's mad pretty. And vice versa. Ty should have said the same thing, but she was being attacked, so I understand why she wouldn't want to compliment somebody attacking her. But Shay could have said, yeah, the girl's pretty, and keep it moving. Men respect that too, because they know that if your self-esteem is high enough that you know how to maintain your composure even when you're around other beautiful women, then they know that you're not going to put up with BS and you'll just easily walk away from the situation. Women who beg and plead for their man's attention, they are kind of clingy to their man, and they're not going to leave at the first sign of disrespect. A woman who knows who she is, and she's a boss like Melody, she'll peep the disrespect and the cheating and the lying, but she won't allow that to define her worth. A lot of women, when their man starts cheating on them, or the man becomes disrespectful towards them, their self-esteem gets broken down to the point where they'll stay in the relationship to prove their worth to the man. So if I leave the man after he disrespects me, it means that I'm worth nothing, right? That's how a lot of women think. But some women think, listen, whether or not you disrespect me, I'm going to respect myself enough to leave a toxic situation. I'm not fighting no woman over you. I'm not going to be jealous about you and the next chick, okay? In fact, I'll help you and your baby mama, side piece, mistress go on vacation, okay, on her birthday. That's what Melody did. Melody was so secure within herself and about her value that she said, sure, you can have everything. You can have him. Take him. As a matter of fact, you want him so bad, I'll cut all ties with him so you guys can have a happy life together. No alimony, no child support. We don't have to work together. I don't even have to see him. I'll let you have him 100%. Because I don't value anybody who doesn't value me. So I'm not losing anything. It's easy for me to let go of somebody who disrespected me. I don't feel like I have to fight for somebody who will make me want to fight somebody else in order to get their approval or to get their respect or to get their acknowledgement or to get their love. Allowing you to abuse me and disrespect me and dismiss me should not be a prerequisite for our relationship. So like I said, not to go on a tangent, Shay was wrong, but she was triggered by the girl's beauty, and like a lot of women, she decided to project her anger towards the woman instead of her man who made her feel insecure in the first place. And this is why these men get to cheat for years with no consequence, because like Charlana also, my man may be toxic, but he's still my toxic man. So I'm going to get jealous about him with other women. Just like Shay, my man doesn't really want to acknowledge me and doesn't give me the respect that I want, but I'm still going to fight another woman over him because he's still valuable to me, even though he doesn't value me the way that I want him to, right? That's why, like I said, I will always give props to Melody. No, I'm not a millimeter because I don't join gangs and clubs. That's not my thing. But I will always give props to Melody for being a boss enough to say, even though the man that I love doesn't value me, that does not invalidate me. My worth is an integral and intrinsic part of myself. Nobody can take that from me. Not no side piece, not no man. Nobody can take away what God put in me. So anyway, I look forward to reading your comments. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.